everybody, welcome to Eden Fractal. We're here for our 100th event, and I'm so pleased to be here with Eric and Rosmari and Will. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for being here. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful day. We have exciting discussion planned out for today, and who knows what we'll be doing on our 100th event. It's been such a huge pleasure spending the past just about 2 years with you all. So maybe I'll jump right into it and give a quick presentation for a intro to Eden Fractal briefly, and also a little showing what's on the agenda as well. If anyone wants to say hello or share any thoughts first or at any point, then feel free to jump in and say hello or anything like that. Otherwise, I'll jump into the presentation. Welcome to Eden Fractal, our 100th event. As we said before, Eden Fractal, if you're not familiar, you can check out edenfractal.com. Eden Fractal is a community that creates innovative games, shows, and tools, and we have a vision that all communities and organizations have the best tools and methods to make the best possible decision-making. Decisions between groups, in groups, to be fair, fast, and fun. You can learn more about our vision here and how we reach consensus at edenfractal.com/vision. We played a bunch of interesting games and a bunch of interesting consensus processes to form that. And we also did a similar process for our mission too, which is to implement practical decision-making processes throughout society via collaborative research, development, education, gamification, and community engagement. You can watch videos and learn more there, and explore the website for more about fractal decision-making processes if you're not sure what that is, or check out our previous videos. And join our weekly events too. It's a great way to meet people, to ask questions, and to help optimize decision-making in your community organization with these tools and games that we're building. And everybody's welcome to join. We host events every Wednesday at 16 UTC. It's an awesome opportunity, and we love to meet people. So join, invite your friends, and so forth. You can also take part in our videos too, because each week we produce videos. We record the videos of all the events, and we've produced just about 100 videos now, and you can watch 80 of them that have been produced so far here as well on the YouTube channel show. And you can learn about our tools here, but we also have other websites that have a lot more details of the tools. So more details coming about that soon, but join the events, and you can join the group chat as well to ask any questions and reach out and so forth, and explore the website to learn more about Eden Fractal. I've got a cool new presentation software here, by the way. Just figured I'd mention that, but yeah, so lou.mouse/Eden Fractal is where you can RSVP for weekly reminders for the events. And also you can check out the videos of each event on the YouTube channel for Eden creators. And this is the episodes page for the videos that are on edenfractal.com/videos. So you can check it out in all their beauty and all the cool stuff going on there. And then the Eden Creators YouTube channel, we also publish videos from Optimism Fractal too. So that's another event that we host every Thursday at 17 UTC that everybody's welcome to join, where we're pioneering these consensus processes and these practical decision-making games and so forth. So you can check it out, as well as many other exciting videos on this channel too, youtube.com/Eden Creators. We very much appreciate you subscribing to help share, to help more people see it and so forth. And you can also check out the videos on optimismfractal.com as well to learn more. Fractal events, I'm just trying something new where we just kind of show the events. I just mentioned Optimism Fractal. You can learn more about optimismfractal.com. And we also have a calendar too, lou.mouse/optimistics, where you can find events that we host each week with really cool stuff going on in all of these places. So I encourage you to join all these new places where we're testing out and pioneering and using these fractal decision-making processes. So for today's topic, we have an exciting agenda. So we're kind of riding the wave of decision making this week. We're going to play another Fractal Forums kind of game like we did last week. It's like agendas, community agenda game where everybody can suggest topics and upvote topics and coordinate together to choose what we'll discuss And we're aiming to have a great time and do a playful spirit, and also find out really helpful ways to build our products and so forth to help everybody make better decisions. And yeah, we're very grateful for what Eden Fractal's community has achieved in the past 6 months or so. We have defined our vision and mission, which I mentioned, and then we've also developed open source software for practical decision-making processes and games on several networks. And we've produced many epic videos with hundreds of talented leaders, and we've also started many communities. So more coming there soon, but just as a little highlight and a little thanks to everybody for all the amazing work that we've done and all the great memories. There's so much more we could say too about it, but we'll have more time for that maybe next week as well, and maybe today's week, depending on what we want to talk about. Rosmari put out a really nice message in the Eden Fractal Telegram group, t.me/Eden Fractal, encouraging everybody to retweet the tweet, and looking forward to seeing you very soon. And this is the Fractal Forums, kind of, it's like a collaborative conversation process, and it's got a agendas game where we upload topics. So basically, the rules are that I create a Slido poll, and I suppose we could do something different too, but this is what is proposed right now and I think it's a good process that anybody can propose a topic by writing in the Telegram chat or using the Q&A panel in Slido, which I'll show in a moment. And then, so just feel free to suggest anything that's on your mind, especially if it's related to fractals and decision-making processes and helping your community in some way or helping your organization, however Eden Fractal can help. And then basically right after this presentation ends in a moment, then we'll start discussing these things. So feel free, I shared the link in the Telegram chat. If anyone wants to suggest topics now or upvote them, then that would be cool to do at this time. And yeah, anybody can suggest to move on to the next topic by typing next topic in the Zoom room. And then we'll try it out. We're trying a new thing where that triggers a 1 minute countdown. And then if anyone wants to stay on the same topic, then write same topic within the same minute or say same topic. And then that kind of has a veto effect where we stay on the same topic unless over half the people agree. So it's something we're trying out, but we can also just kind of have fun with it and go along with an experiment with it. Appreciate everybody trying it out with us. And I also put this message out here with the Slido poll. So now you can go check out the Slido poll and vote on topics. Right now, for example, there is, you can upvote here, for example, on different things, and then you can unupvote if you want. And I put up some topics from last week. Will and Rosmari, actually, no, not Will, Zal and Rosmari put up some topics. So I put those up from last week again and voted on them. And then Eric had proposed something for Sales Mountain, and he suggested role playing right before we start recording. So I put that up for Eric as well. And then I also want to just let everybody know too, for anybody who's not aware, the 2-year anniversary of Eden Fractal coming up on June 8th. Today is May 29th, so that's in just over a week. And we celebrated our first anniversary last year by playing 2 new consensus games called Features and Fractal DJ. There's a video where you can check it out. It was a really fun time. And so in today's event, I'd like to speak for a little bit about plans for celebrating the 2-year anniversary over the next week or two, depending on how we want to do it. I'm thinking about doing a new Fractal Stories game. And also, I think we can really maximize the growth of Fractals by building on base and doing respect games on base. So at some point, I'd like to talk about that. And I'd love to hear your feedback and any ideas that you may have. Celebrate the anniversary, could cover our 3rd year. So if anybody has any suggestions or ideas about that, then we'd be very happy to hear. You can check out that full video and some show notes on edenfractal.com/53 to see all the stuff we did. We had a really long meeting. It was 3.5 hours long, and there was like 15, 20 people here, all having like a great time. And with the Fractal DJ, we basically played music with the Fractal process, and the speeches game, we give speeches at Eden Fractal. So there's timestamps here where you can see people give their speeches and play the Fractal DJ game. Really cool stuff that happened. And then this is the Sales Mountain image that Eric shared. So perhaps Eric can follow up on this in more detail after I stop the presentation, or I can pull it back up. But it looks very interesting, and he shared an idea about role playing, following up on our last week's discussion. And then basically the Fractal Stories game I was thinking about for maybe next week for the anniversary is basically just everybody shares a story about fractals. We could perhaps take a break from the product discussions, but also maybe it could be enhancing and helping the product discussions. But I thought about proposing this a few weeks ago, but I think it might be a good thing to do. And maybe we play a game where we're like ranking each other's stories for like the most fun stories or most exciting stories, something like that. It could be both stories of the past and like how you've experienced fractals so far, Eden Fractal or different fractals. Like Eric hosts the Art Fractal, we have Optimum Fractal. There's dozens of fractal communities or future fractals and future stories about how you think could be inspiring for the future. So if anyone has any suggestions about best things to discuss, I'd be happy to hear it. But also I see that Eric's topic for Sales Mountain has the most votes too. So I'll end my presentation now, and thank you everybody for listening and being here. Hope you enjoyed. And the floor is open now if anyone wants to comment on any of that stuff, or shall we go into the Sales Mountain discussion?
I don't know if it's a mobile experience or not, but I'm not seeing the Slido poll. I've got the Slido app installed on my Zoom.
Okay, I just
maybe
realized
I'll hop off. Yeah,
no,
maybe I'll hop off. Oh,
I don't
go
think
ahead.
I don't think you need to. I think what happened is that Slido just came out with their integration with Zoom, and I forgot how it worked. So I shared the link to the Slido poll that you can view in a browser. So you should be able to open it if you're in Telegram and you just click the link that I shared. But I just opened up the poll with the integration with Zoom now. So you should have probably got a notification from Zoom that says like, click yes to access.
Yeah, I see
Slido
it now.
Zoom.
I see it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Well, I see that so far the two things that have the most upvotes right now are Sales Mountain and role playing, which also, Eric, feel free. I kind of wrote that based on what you said before, but feel free if there was a different topic that you had in mind or some other way you want to
Nope,
explain it.
that's
But
it.
if you want to maybe introduce it and share a little bit what you shared before we started recording, then feel free to do so. If it'd be helpful, I could also share the screen. I feel like that'd probably be helpful too. So maybe I'll go ahead and share the screen now, or do you want to just go
Sure,
ahead?
go ahead.
Just go. Okay, cool. Sounds good. So, okay, so here is the live upvoting process. So now the top upvote topic is Sales Mountain and role playing, and the second top most upvote topic is 2-year anniversary planning, where I asked what is the best way to celebrate the 2nd-year anniversary of Eden Fractal, and with that I kind of added on the idea of building on base too. So I think we'll start off with Sales Mountain and then maybe do the role playing a little bit. And then after that, if you have time, it would be great to have a bit of time at least to discuss the 2nd-year anniversary of Eden Fractal, as that's coming up in 1 week. And if anybody wants to go to the next topic at any point, then feel free to either write in the chat or just let us know next topic. And then that'll start kind of the 1-minute timer, and then we'll see when we feel like move on to the next topic. So with that, Eric's, and this actually, by the way, the new application I have, it's like quite well organized, but I forgot where I put my topics. So Sales Mountain is right here. So with that, Eric, maybe if you want to introduce us to the Sales Mountain and what you were thinking about with this.
Sure. So as we go, we come up with idea. Eventually, you have to sell it, which means just sharing what we do in the way that benefits our potential partners, collaborators, customers in the best possible way. So we want to share what we do in a way that makes sense and has the most benefit to the people we're trying to share it with. So this is basically something that Eric Lofholm, who's one of my sales mentors, came up with. And the basic idea is this. The reason that somebody will give you their contact information so you can have further conversations is different than the reason they'll meet with you, which is different than the reason that they will sit down and have a presentation, which is different than the reason they'll buy. So in other words, someone says, oh, Rosmari, give me your card because I want to buy from you. Well, that's possible. It's not the usual first thing. And they say, all right, well, let's meet because I'm ready to buy from you. That's usually not the thing. So the big lessons learned is it's downstream from that. So the first question is, how do you get people to say, in lead generation is, ooh, that's a conversation that I'd like to have more of. It's a conversation about joining optimism. Is it a conversation about, reading Dan Larimer's book? What is the conversation about? And that's how you get a lead, by sharing a potential conversation they'd like to have. But eventually you go, why don't we meet? And so you don't sell the benefit of getting in Fractal, you sell the benefit of, here's why we should exchange information, which is different than sharing the benefit of, here's why we should meet, which is different than saying, here's why we should have a presentation. So typically you get a lead. Through that lead, you share the benefit that, hey, we should sit down and talk about this stuff. Within that appointment, once you set the appointment, it's really building trust and rapport. And rapport is not, I don't look at it as most sales people do. Most salespeople think, oh, they just have to like you and you have to be friendly. Well, yeah, but to me, rapport is more like getting rid of all the bugs on the window, the preconceived notions, anything that's getting in the way of having a conversation, and sharing the fact that, I have your best interest in heart, which we do. Once you can have that, then you're ready to have a conversation. So identifying customers' needs is just asking questions. So rather than jumping in and saying, let me tell you about me and our stuff, and it's kind of like saying, instead of saying, let me tell you what a great husband I'd be, it's like, well, what are you looking for in a husband or a relationship? So identifying customers' need, and then sharing the benefits is about saying, well, you said the number one challenge you had was this, and then sharing how you could meet that challenge. And then what comes up is saying, yes, but it's too expensive, it's too hard, I don't have the time. So that's where you're going back and forth between trying to say, well, let's get going, and brings up an objection. So you keep circling back until all the objections are done. And then the next is, do what you say you're going to do on the other side of the mountain. It's really about getting referrals is one thing, but following up, following through. Any questions on Sales Mountain? Does that make sense to people? Is that a useful tool?
Well, yeah, it does make sense to me. Curious, I see Will's giving a thumbs up, and Rosemary's unmuted. And Rosemary, feel free to jump in. I was also just going to provide a bit of context for people too, first, in case, because we kind of jumped right into it. But in case anybody's watching and they're not totally sure what we're talking about, in the last week's event, we talked about the name of our product, and we talked a little bit about the respect game. We had quite a detailed discussion about calling it the respect game and naming it game and so forth. And then also in previous weeks, we've also discussed product packaging. That's actually one of our main discussions over the past couple months. We've talked about strategy basically to basically figure out the best way to sort of sell or convey the benefits of what we're doing here at Eden Fractal, and to be able to implement these fractal decision-making processes throughout society. So I just want to provide a bit of context there. There's a bunch of past videos where people can see, such as this video where we discussed, I think in 3 weeks ago, we were discussing how to package the product. And so this goes along with the idea of how do we take what we're doing at communities like Eden Fractal, and what we've done at Eden Fractal a lot with games like the Respect game, where we go into different groups and rank each other's contributions, and then use that kind of respect to make decisions. And then from there, and so Eric brought up some really interesting ideas that made sense to me. But well, Rosemary was unmuted first, so sorry, Rosemary, if I jumped in front of you, but I just wanted to provide a bit of context for any viewers who weren't sure about that or forgot about it. But Rosemary, if you want to go ahead now and share your thoughts, then that'd be much appreciated.
Okay, I'm interested about the sweet spot, top 25%.
About the sweet spot? The
Yeah.
sweet spot is where your potential customer collaborate about as well as you can in the time you have. So it's kind of like, okay, I really understand Rosemary and what she needs. Now the idea is saying, I have this thing that answers that. So Rosemary, like the way I used to get there was I would give people the process ahead of time and say, there's a 4-step process, very simple, to see whether whether our fractal tool is for you. We do this, we do that. And at this point, if you feel that this meets what your needs are, I'll ask whether you want to go ahead. So it's always very easy to say, they knew when I was going to ask, but it's really saying, okay, Rosemary, you said you really wanted a way to build culture in a way that's easy. And we talked about how this tool and methodology you have is a great way to make sure everybody gets heard, gets their voice heard. It only takes, an hour every few weeks. It gets the benefits you talked about. Is there anything that would prevent you from moving forward? So we're in the sweet spot. And you might say, yes, this is awesome, I'm ready, let's go. On the other hand, you might say, well, yeah, but my people aren't really good with technology. And I could say, yeah, I understand that a lot of people felt that way, but listen, I was working with these artists who are older people. They don't really get technology at all. They actually love this thing. In fact, a lot of them are using this technology for their own purposes. So what we found is that that it works well with people that actually don't like technology. Does that sound like it fits your group? And then you say yes, or then you say, yeah, but I'm worried about Maintenance. Okay, so that sweet spot is where you know what they want, you know what you have, you're bringing them together, but you're kind of jumping back and forth depending on whether you handle their objections well. If you did it really well, you handled them before you got there. But there's always something. So that's that elegantly dancing is getting a objection and addressing that in a way that's respectful and beneficial to the person you're going through. Did I do an okay job explaining that?
Yes, thanks. And was the art group, the Art Fractal that you worked with, what kind of technology were they using? Were they using the Zoom or also Fractogram?
It was Zoom.
And were they submitting on chain?
No.
Okay.
That was a test to see if I could get a bunch of people who told me they hate technology. In fact, they're never going to use it. It'll never work, to see if I could get them to use it. And Dan saw that they were actually pretty enthusiastic, to the point that several of them got their own Zoom accounts after that. And some of those people got their own Zoom accounts for people who told me they would never use it, ever.
And they were in the, do you know their age range around that? Was there a specific age range you were going after?
Most of them were over their 60s. Some were in 70s, some were even in their 80s. So it was a good group to test.
Yes. And is this your potential kind of target market or customer that, or
yeah, I'm starting with targeting nonprofit organizations, and they were a nonprofit organization. And as a result of this, they actually changed the name of their organization and created some new events out of that. A tour of the home artist, an artist studio tour, and things like that. So they actually liked it. Unfortunately, the reason that I haven't kept up with that group is because I polluted them for the next stage of my dissertation. I've already put so much information. When I go to the next stage, I don't know how much of that was because of things I did there. I can't connect them. So I have to shift to the next group. And actually, I'm going to have to throw that group away later too, because I'm going to have to test out our tool with them. So I can't use that to collect the data. It has to be really pristine. So I actually have to get 3 groups to do my test. So that's why you haven't seen me pursuing that group. But that group's, I still see them all the time. That group is doing really well.
Okay, so you're not so interested in testing this on chain in a way, but more so the actual fractal cooperation process of doing the respect game, I assume?
I'd love to get it on chain, but just think about how if I started talking to these people about blockchain, it would just, they were already freaking out when I was talking to them about Zoom. They thought Zoom was a non-starter. So imagine if I said, oh, we're going to use this blockchain and let me get you all wallets. I think that would have been a tough sell for them. But if we can get, some of the new wallets are coming on, if we can make it easy to get them on there, then I'm very enthusiastic about eventually getting all this on chain. But my main concern is when you look at that sales mountain, you know, you start out with how do you get a lead? And you know, how do you do that? What's the conversation? And that brings us back to the packaging, that we have this tool. Well, what we call it and all that kind of fits into that conversation. So if we said, well, would you like to play a game in your organization? Okay, that's one method. But where does that conversation go? So that's why sometimes role playing is helpful. Yes, Will.
As far as wallet solutions that are easy, and I understand, you know, talking about blockchain can be a hard conversation to have with people that don't know what blockchain is, right? So it inspired me to create the masterclass content I did for our learning center. But have you looked at the Crave Wallet? Because they use passcode technology, so you don't need to worry about seed phrases up front, and it's like a 2 to 3 click process to get a wallet set up.
No, I haven't. Just because my main focus is, can I get people to even participate in there? So I don't want to add any extra clicks for my test, because I have to go collect data. And if I collect data, then does it, and let's say it doesn't work or I get negative results, is that because of the fractal process or is that because of the enrollment process? So the more steps I give them to enroll, so I can certainly do that after I validate that, oh yeah, the fractal they really like. So I have to isolate the pieces of it. Otherwise, I don't know what factor is pushing what.
That makes sense. So you're approaching it from an academia perspective right now.
Well, also from a business perspective, because you think of rolling this in, and then the first thing you do is, so the first thing we do is we have to get all your people on their wallets. Okay, you have to be prepared to do that conversation. Is that worth it? As opposed to some of the things we've been talking about is, oh, we're ready to go with this new tool. It's fantastic. Just click this link and it happens. So if we can get them using that, that's like my first priority. So it's not promoting blockchain. It should be that blockchain helps us do what we want, helps them get more out of what they want. So we don't sell blockchain, we sell benefits. And when you talk about organizations, unless they're a techie organization, then the fact that it's cool or new or doesn't really play with them. Really, most people, when you do sales, are in the early majority. So 33% of people won't do anything unless it's been proven and there's no risk. Why should I do this? It's only about 3% or 37% of people that go, oh, this is cool, like us. Oh, it's cool, I'm in. Then there's only about 10% plus or minus that'll go, well, I'll use this if it gets an advantage. So if I do this and it gets me more. So we're trying to get to the early majorities fast because that's the biggest crowd in there. While we can test with early adopters and innovators, it's the early majority that's tough to get, and you make it even any bit harder and it's tough. So if we're going to make them do something new and innovative, we have to sell the benefits. So why should I get a blockchain? Well, here's what you get. So that's why this role playing is good, because we have to, okay, so explain to me, what do I get? So convince me, tell me what I get out of doing this.
I'm just going to back you up, and I agree with that approach as far as leading with the benefits, right? And I think also in that conversation too, that has value, or at least in my experiences it does, is talking about not just the benefits, but why it is more beneficial than the constructs that have been built over the last 100 years that we can see in almost every aspect of society are not only failing, but because they haven't been updated or haven't matured, they're broken systems.
Yeah, well, for me, the benefit is, how you make decisions and you don't remember how you got there or what they were. They're just kind of lost. Wouldn't you like to have that record and really understand your decision-making process so that you can really share with, what if you got a big group, and how do you share the decision-making process from one group to another? How do you use it to make better decisions? Everybody agrees data is a king. This is the first time you'll be able to have real data on your decision-making process. I think that's when we can really sell them, as we figure out how to use, because one of the big things besides secure and transactional is the fact that you're actually able to look at the data. Of course, then you have to say, by the way, we'll protect people's information at the same time. So we have to be able to answer those questions.
I think there still has to be some level of education on wallets and what they are, because if people use and track their decisions by data, and it's submitted on chain, then really the connection there is that they would receive respect or whatever the community token is, or whatever value that they set as a respect each week. And then they can use that to govern their community and make decisions more informed and so forth with such things that we're experimenting right now. And I think this is important because they will have, the probably visibility of their respect score, let's say, from their weekly contributions. But also it would be important for them to understand how can they use that respect. And that's also connected to their wallet in a way, because I think they have to log in to the wallet to sign transactions. If they do anything on chain, I think if it's not automated with the Fractal app, where it just shows they can log in, without actually with a nice interface, in the end, like, I think they'll still be using that address public key. So I don't know how all of that can be taken away while still submitting on chain and without like the users bothering at all about this aspect of, oh, I actually have an account and that's where all my respect is stored. That's my thinking process here, that this is something to think about.
Well, just imagine we took a bunch of people skiing and said, here's the diamond slope, go. To really take advantage of skiing, there's a lot of things you need to know. Do you need to know any of that to get on the bunny slope? Actually, you don't. So you can put people on the bunny slope and just teach them to snowplow. That's all they need to know. They don't need to know about the body mechanics and the weight distribution and all that. But to go on the intermediate slopes, they do. They have to know how to parallel and the transfer of weight. And they go on the diamond slopes, you really need to understand the body mechanics and that kind of stuff. So yeah, what we want eventually to do is we want to get people heavy into decision making, into fractal, into blockchain, to really take advantage of what we're trying to do. We need to get them there. But the question is, do you start by saying, okay, here's the diamond slope, go? They kind of look at that and they go, oh, this is scary and I don't know how to do it. So we're just trying to give them the bunny slope where, and if organizations are ready to go off the diamond, yeah, let's get them in there. But my experience is when you give somebody something where they have to think or act differently, you got to start them on a bunny. It's more beneficial to start them on the bunny slope, which is just this idea of getting together, of having a safe place to talk, even the relative ranking. What I found with my initial group is that was a big issue. And you had to treat that carefully, because people go, oh, I don't want somebody to feel bad, so I don't want to rank them. I'm out. When it comes to voting, I'm not going to do that. So that was one of the tests, is how do you get that? And I learned the way to get them in that. But you have to realize each one of these things can look like a diamond slope, diamond hill to some people, double diamond. So yeah, to take advantage of everybody, at least some people in the organization really need to understand the blockchain. They need to understand fractals. They need to understand the technology, even psychology and decision-making and group dynamics. There's a lot we could do to make everybody successful. But I can tell you that I've had some of the best training in lots of different organizations in government, industry, and academia. And I can tell you most of it, in fact, almost all of it didn't stick. We'd get great people from great organizations. They pay a lot of money to bring these people and train the group, and even for weeks training. But let's say, this group comes in for a week and it's all really good stuff, and Monday nobody implements it. So you have to think about getting, part of it is getting people to build new habits. If it's too hard, you know, if the first time you go to the gym, well, you have to run 5 miles and you have to do this and you have to do that, it's complex, they'll give it up. So you want to change their habits by getting them just to do one thing that's differently. So just getting groups of people to meet and talk we're actually asking a lot. Meet periodically in a safe environment and share. That is actually quite a big ask.
Yes, it is.
Getting the habit of ranking people without them feeling like they're saying something bad.
It's a whole lot that goes with developing these processes. I think Dan is the person who's like probably one of the most experienced, if not the most experienced person who's dealt with such cases where you have to really comfort people and educate them and show them and make articles and produce videos and all of those things that take time and effort, and educate and spread the
But you
fact.
also have to motivate them to want that education. It's not enough to say, oh, I've got this great stuff. Ignore it. I used to sell geographic information systems. Now, who's ready to jump in with a geographic information system, especially enterprise level? Rosmari, Dan, Will.
Let's go explore.
You ready? You ready to go? You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
By the way, write me a big check and we'll get you started. I mean, one of the biggest organizations I got, one day, you know, I was there and I paid attention, that whole ask them, sell the benefit of why you should let me into your organization to find out more about what you do. That was the first conversation. So it's that part where you build trust and rapport enough to get the needs. And then I saw something really complex to do. And I'm saying, would you like me to show you something that could help with that? Oh yeah, it's a big problem. Oh, this is great. What's it cost? I said, $15,000. And they're like, yeah, that'd be great. Cause it was such a pain, that's a lot of money, but compared to how hard it was for them to, they're like, yeah, and they got this button. It was like, oh my God. And then they came up with another problem. And I said, would you like that as another button? I go, yeah. He goes, how much is that one? I said, it's like $8,000. You're kidding. So I gave him another button. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Then I gave him another problem. I said, would you like to have problems solving that? And they go, another button. I go, yeah, how much is this one? I said, $3,000. They go, well, how come they keep getting less? I go, you're actually reusing what you already bought. You've actually bought this whole system that allows you to do all the things. In fact, you could leverage this and this and this and that. Oh, great. So then I sold them a $50,000 package because they realized that, whole crap. But, I started by just selling them a button. Because if I said, let me start educating you about geographic information systems, they're like, yeah, we've got a business, we've got work to do. So, you got to meet people where they are and guide them to where they need to be with the minimum of effort. But where we want to guide them is to really understand all this stuff that we've been working hard to understand. But I don't think under the conversation, don't lead with that. I mean, for most people, if the lead generation, the conversation we're looking for is, would you like to learn how to use blockchain to increase the efficiency of your business? Some people would go with that conversation, but it's probably not as many as with another conversation.
All right. Well, good points. Excellent discussion all around. Thanks a lot, Eric.
So as we go for our packaging is kind of that messaging. That's that first conversation. So I just did this so as we think about, what our first conversation is. The first conversation is, would you like to play a game? Maybe. Or is it, would you like to harness the power of gamification that other organizations do? Would you like to have the same benefits for that others do that? Crafting that initial conversation is what that packaging is almost like an initial conversation. If you get on the shelf, that's like the initial conversation, even sometimes without you there. If it's in the store, it has to have that process. that process still works no matter what. So I just thought it might be helpful to think about that as we come up with our packaging, is the fact that that is a conversation by itself. So hopefully that was helpful.
Yes, that is very helpful. Thank you, Eric. I see Rosemary just put next topic on too, so I just put a 1 minute timer on. So I was also thinking you want to move on to the next topic too, because we only have 12 minutes left, and I want to also talk a little bit of the topics for next week, but also I wanted to respond to that briefly. So I think we'll put next topic as well. So if one more person puts the next topic, then we move on to the next topic. Also want to welcome Joe as well. Thanks for joining. Hope that you're doing well. Feel free to say hello or share any thoughts that you have. For Joe, if you're not familiar, we're playing the next topic game. Maybe the name of it, but basically it's this game where people can write next topic and then starts a 1 minute timer, and then we move on to the next topic. We're voting in slide on polls. So yeah, I see Joe's unmuted. Hello, Joe.
Hello. I'm eating into the 1 minute topic. I see I'm getting down to 10, 9, 8. Ooh. But yeah, hello guys. Good to see you, and nice to see your smiling faces, and nice to meet you, Will.
Sounds great. Well, great to hear from you as always, Joe. Feel free to share your thoughts. One thing I forgot to mention too is that people can say same topic if you wanted to veto it. I see we'll put it at the heart. So if anybody did still want to discuss this, we're kind of testing this game and consensus process out for one of the first times. So if any of you still want to talk about that, that's okay. But otherwise, we had 2 people say next topic. So we can move on to the next topic, and perhaps I'll go ahead and share my screen and show where we're at with the topic list, as well as I had a couple of different things that I wanted to share to maybe help start wrapping us up, because we're going to wrap it up and be at the top of the hour in about 10 minutes or so. But thanks so much, Eric, for all the thoughts about the Tadas Mountain and everything in general you shared. Thanks so much, Rosmari and Will, for the great thoughts in that conversation as well. Makes me think a lot. That's a great question about what to ask people, like what's the best first things to ask people to start out. So really appreciate that, and encourage people to look more into the South Mountain. And I know I'll be listening to this again to dive in deeper. So the topics that are on the agenda now, this is a Slido poll where we can see all the topics, and if you wanted to upvote or remove their upvote for any of these, you can. The next topic on the list is the 2-year anniversary planning. I asked what's the best way to celebrate the 2nd-year anniversary of Eden Fractal. And maybe I'll just go ahead. If anyone wants to jump in and share any thoughts, then feel free anytime. But otherwise, I'll just maybe go ahead and just share a brief reminder, as well as I had some tabs open here that I wanted to just kind of add on to the previous conversation. So we will give a presentation. I'll try to be very brief, for just like 2 minutes, but feel free to jump in if you're inspired at any point. So yeah, basically, I don't think we'll get to discuss another topic because we only have 10 minutes left. So this will probably be the final topic of the event. But if anybody did still want to put next topic, these are the rules of the event. It's in the Eden Fractal Telegram group. Oops, I guess my system here is still not working that well. Yeah, so I can actually title this so I know, but right now it just says contact at Eden Fractal. So I'll title those in the future and name this maybe like game rules. So I'll be able to move it quicker. Just a little bit behind the scenes stuff here. To provide a better show and stuff and provide a better experience for everybody. But yeah, that's the rules. If anyone wants to do next topic at any point, you can. But otherwise, we'll discuss the 2-year anniversary now. But just to briefly touch upon that, the Sales Mountain, I don't know if you want to share any links about that, Eric. If you want to share it in the Telegram group, so maybe people can dive in deeper, then feel free. Otherwise, we'll share the video in the chat where people can watch. And at some point, I was sharing, Rosemary's asking the Art Fractal. So I did an episode with Eric and a few other Fractal Pioneers of a show that out a while ago called Eden Town Hall. If you want to check out edentownhall.com/35, then you can find more about the Art Fractal that Eric was doing with the Fallbrook Art Association and learn more about this. I joined those events several times and they're really cool. So great to hear the update about that as well. And thanks, Rosemary, for asking about that. And people can watch that. It was a great episode where we discussed all sorts of stuff and shared the screen and went into detail about those things too. So also, I kind of want to give a quick shout out to Will too. He's doing the Kingfisher Media Learn to Earn program. And I think this can be really helpful. He shared some links about this in the Eden Fractal Telegram group, but as far as educating people how to use these things, I think that I know Eric and I have also been talking about like educational initiatives for fractals. And I think that we could use tools, on-chain tools, to help people learn better about why to use on-chain. And then we talked about tools make it really easy for people to go on-chain and I've been looking a lot into Privy as well as the Coinbase developer program and the smart wallet. So basically that stuff's getting really easy. So you can play simple games and or do simple things and start playing not even know your own Web3. So I think that will help, as well as the idea of like of games, and that playful spirit can make you feel more comfortable with it, as well as all the content and all the other discussions we had there. So that's just some stuff I wanted to bring up there in response to that. But otherwise, I can move on to the next topic, which was about the 2-year anniversary planning. And so I had shared this message over here that I said at the beginning of the event, so won't go over too much. But last year we played 2 new games called Features and Fractal DJ. Fractal DJ was like a respect game, but who could share the best music? And we each had a minute to share our music. And then we ranked it. That was really fun. There's an article about that at edencrave.com/DJ, I think. And then speeches, where people gave speeches about Eden Fractal. So people can watch this video, and we never got around to like finishing the show notes, but you can click around through the links and then find more details there. And at some point we'll have more time to really get this going. But we figured, and I think it's a great opportunity now that Eden Fractal has been here for 2 years, just about, it's a great opportunity to celebrate it in some way, especially now that we have our mission formed and our vision formed, and we have lots of great things for our products. Like we've come a long way. I just pulled up edenfractal.com/1, which was the first video, which was like kind of like a crazy time. There's 12 people here, and it was like it started kind of just quickly, but it's come so long in the past 2 years. So wanted to recap it a little bit and give people thanks, and then hear if anybody has any suggestions for the topics for that we discussed next week. And I had the idea that we could play this kind of fractal stories game where we each share a story that about fractals in any way, about how it's inspired us or an experience we've had with fractals, Eden Fractal, any other fractal community, or just in general the idea of fractals, as well as perhaps a story about what you think fractals will do, or where you think fractals will be in the future, or something like that. Just like keep it really general so anybody can kind of like take it however they want and just kind of riff off it and share their own little speech and give everybody a chance to do it. And then last year when we did the speeches game, and we also traded with retro pitches game at Optimus Fractal, we did like where we could rank using Slido, like who shared the most fun, the fun story or interesting story, or like helpful stories that we can think of some fun things. So I'm planning to propose this, and I think it'll be a really fun time. And I don't know if we'll celebrate it next week or in 2 weeks, probably next week, I guess. And then also I've been talking with Tadas, and I think Tadas is developing a next version of Respect Game and Fractal software on the EVM. And I've been asking him to deploy it on Base too. Base has something called the On-Chain Summer going on right now. On Base, it's launched by Coinbase. It's now the biggest L2, and it's got a huge amount of resources there built to bring the next billion users on chain. And they have a lot of really exciting initiatives. So I'm thinking that if Eden Fractal more so aligns with Base in the coming year, maybe the software will be ready by then. We can start playing Respect games and posting it on Base. It's an OP stack chain and the Optimism super chain. It's eligible. It's contributions and building on Base is eligible for retro funding. So it could be an opportunity for funding as well as community growth, because they're using like their massive budget and team and all the great stuff that they're doing to bring on many people on chain and also support builders and so forth. So that was another idea I had that would be interested to hear what people think about it in the next year. But yeah, we only have 5 minutes left, so I'd like to leave a bit of time for any feedback or suggestions if you like these ideas about both building on Base in the new year, and then this idea of the Fractal Stories game, and also just in general if you have any other ideas about the best ways to celebrate the new year, or I should say celebrate the anniversary and kick off our 3rd year. So curious if anybody has any thoughts about it, then feel free to jump in, and we can wrap up at any point. We're 4 minutes from top of the hour, but we'll also try to be punctual too. So I'll stop talking there and curious to see what everybody thinks. Or if you'd like, I could just start wrapping it up if you want to just think about it. I know there's kind of a lot of information, so we could always wrap it up a couple minutes early if you want to.
I think it's a good idea to play the game where we can share why, what's the purpose, or what do we get out, or what do we like the most about Eden Fractal or any fractal that we've participated, and reconnect.
It sounds good, and make it fun too, and hear from everybody, and I think that'd be neat. Sounds good. Okay, cool. Eric, Will, Joe, do you have any suggestions on this topic or anything else you'd like to share before the end of the event today?
No, I just want to say thank you for highlighting what we're doing at Kingfisher's Media. It's always good to have other people knowing what we're about. I will say our Learn to Earn program has come along really nicely through the funding rounds that we participated in that were side rounds for GG20. We were able to acquire some new tokens that we've been able to implement in that program. So it's continuing to grow and will continue to grow.
Let's grow. Okay, well, sounds great. Thanks for the update, Will. And yeah, I'm happy to share. I really appreciate all your work. If anyone wants to check out, search the chat for Will's messages. He shared some links to some of his work and some grants. And then I also shared a endorsement here on Will's excellent work, and then a presentation he gave at Optimism Fractal 2, where you can learn more about some of the stuff he was doing back at Optimism Fractal 23. So I encourage people to check it out. And yeah, I think it's really helpful. I'm also really interested in potentially using these kinds of tools as well to help people learn about fractals. Because as we discussed, there's a lot. I totally agree with what Eric said about how we have to like kind of give people a little bit of time, put people on the bunny hill, so to speak. But then as people go on, when you can incentivize people and gamify the playing and reward people for learning and stuff like that, like Will's doing with attestations and rewards and stuff for courses. There's really cool stuff going on there. So thanks so much, Will, and recommend people to check it out at the links in the Telegram group or
And Joe,
Will's got a website too.
unmuted earlier.
Yeah, don't unmute too. Yeah, curious to hear from Joe.
About something in particular or just in general?
Just in general, I mean, the topic was about the anniversary, and so I'd be curious if you have any feedback about that, but also just in general, if there's anything else you want to share that's on your mind before the end of the event, would be happy to hear anything on your mind.
All right, I got my 1 minute topic. Let's go. 100. Congratulations. I mean, it's a weekly thing, right? So, I mean, and I know that there's different breaks, spring breaks, different things that we've missed. So, you know, that's 2 years. That's dedication. That's a lot of iterations. And it's been pretty cool and a great experience for me to learn about a lot of this stuff and try it out and see and learn. It's been very beneficial for me, and I've been very thankful to be part of it and learn from you, Eric, Rosmari, and a lot.
You just muted, Joe. I don't know if that was on purpose.
No, it was accident.
Okay.
Sorry about that. And I continued to talk through my mute.
Okay.
But yeah, you, Rosmari, Eric, and Will, and just so many other people that I've learned a lot from, and have seen the changes, and it's been very beneficial for me. So I'm very grateful and happy to take part in this this governance thing on the blockchain. You know, trying it out, being the use case, the test, trying to affect positive change in the world. At least, you know, making those strides and efforts. So yeah, it's been great, and I'm grateful to be part of it.
Well, thanks so much, Joe. Really appreciate that. And I've really
Thank
been
you.
grateful to be collaborating with you too. And it's been such a pleasure getting to know you over the past year or a year and a half. I don't know how long it's been now. And looking forward to all that we'll do together. And I'm glad that it's been so helpful for you so far. I was going to pull up one of your sites, like the Upland Aliens, the Fifth World Digital. But I can remember the URL, and we are close to the top of the hour.
Yeah,
but I really love your work.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got I was just talking, that's why I was a little bit late here. I'm delivering a presentation for a hackathon for the Upland Aliens on June 7th in Las Vegas. So hopefully we'll be getting some funding, and we're working with some great people. And we've got a really good team, and it's been working out. And again, I don't think any of that would have even come to fruition if it wasn't for this group and some of the other groups that I'm involved with. So yeah, it's awesome.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. I see Rosemary's been at the heart a couple times, so I really look forward to hearing updates and hope that goes well with the Upland Aliens, as well as everything else you're doing. All sorts of cool art and stuff that you post all the time and AI stuff. So feel free to, as always, let us know if there's anything we need to help. And really excited to see how Upland Aliens and all your work will evolve. And
Yeah, when we win the hackathon, I will definitely get you guys involved and see if you can help us beta test and do stuff like that.
okay, sounds excellent. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you win the hackathon too. Okay, cool. I see Eric said, gotta go. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Eric. Amazing conversation. Have a great rest of your day. So it goes for me. I suppose we can wrap it up now. If Joe, Rosmari, Will have anything else you want to share, then feel free.
Let's
We can go
go.
a little bit longer.
Let's
I think we're
go.
ready to go. I think we're ready to go. Okay, so everybody, thanks so much. This has been a wonderful meeting for Eden Fractal, the 100th event. Super cool. Encourage everybody to join next week for, I think we'll celebrate our 2-year anniversary on Wednesday, June 5th. Hope to see you all there and invite friends, and we'll have a wonderful time. And you can check out the videos and also the events too. We have Offers and Fractal coming up tomorrow at 17 UTC on Thursdays. So join us there, and also the new Option Town Hall where we're using these decision-making processes to discuss topics. So lots of cool stuff coming. Hope to see you at the upcoming events. Thanks everybody so much for the amazing time and the amazing experience. I'll stop the screen share, and then we can maybe count down 3, 2, 1.
Yes. 3,
Go Eden Fractal. 3,
2,
2, 1.
1.
Go Eden
Eden
Fractal.
Fractal. Yoo-hoo.
All right, yoo-hoo. Thanks all. See you next time.
Thank you.